Good morning, stakeholders. It's Waterman. Delays, ditched designs and hospital damage. Leaked report reveals metro tunnel woes. A leaked government report on the new $14 billion metro tunnel rail line under central Melbourne reveals delays, potential compensation claims, unresolved issues with cancer treatment equipment in an inner suburb, and plans to dump elements of the mega project to cut costs. Written last month for the state government's Infrastructure Development Committee, which includes several senior MPs, the report says that while the ⁴ partnership is contracted to finish the project on April 29, 2025, late 2025 is more likely.
So, Waterman, I'm a public transport infrastructure consultant.
We apologise for any inconvenience caused.
Just a reminder, this train terminates at Box Hill. There's replacement buses between Box Hill and Camberwell.
It warns that the delivery of two new rail stations, State Library Station and Town Hall Station, are behind schedule, and that the relationship with the companies delivering the project could become a problem. Productivity rates at these CBD stations have been lower than forecast due to a range of factors, including industrial relations and delays to completion of building works, which is putting pressure on testing and commissioning activities, the report says.
There's replacement buses between Box Hill and Camberwell.
The report adds that while the government is working collaboratively with ⁴ Partnership and another consortium the government has contracted, there is a material risk that the level of collaboration and coordination required to successfully complete the project deteriorates. News of the fresh delays come as the $21.6 billion metro rail line under central Sydney opened on Monday. New South Wales Premier Chris Minns hailed that project as a new era of public transport. Melbourne's Metro Tunnel project was originally budgeted at $10.9 billion and is now expected to cost about $14 billion. So long as the new subway is finished by the end of 2025, it will not be greatly delayed on its predicted completion date of 2025. But the leaked report warns new costs and delays may arise. The report says further funding may be required to complete the project to the extent that these challenges and risks crystallise time and cost impacts on the project. The document follows a separate high-level financial analysis of the Metro Tunnel by the Victorian Auditor-General in June 2024. The Auditor-General also found there has been cost blowouts and delays, but did not detail specific issues, other than the medical centres, causing cost overruns and delays. The new leaked report warns that the City of Melbourne may seek further compensation from the state, with progress being frustrated by planning approvals and other issues taking too long to resolve. While some issues have been escalated or unlocked in meetings with the City of Melbourne Chief Executive Officer, the level of engagement remains challenging.
Just a reminder, this train terminates at Box Hill.
There remains a risk that City of Melbourne seek further compensation from the State of Victoria as the project nears completion. A spokesman for the council said the city was working closely with the Metro Tunnel project to resolve issues. The Western Hotel has already received compensation from the Victorian State Government because it adjoins City Square, which has been occupied as a worksite since 2018. But with Town Hall Station taking longer than expected to finish, delay to the completion of the project will extend the term that the Western Hotel is entitled to support for longer than anticipated, which may have further cost implications, the report says. The report does not say how much more money the hotel may get. A request for comment from the Western Hotel went unanswered. The report confirms that the new rail station, Arden, in North Melbourne was finished in January 2024, while another new station in Parkville was completed in May 2024. Both are running months behind their original schedule due to rail testing that must be completed before they can open to the public. The report says it is anticipated that Arden station will take about 9 months to be accepted for operations.
There's replacement buses between Box Hill and Camberwell.
The leaked report details a long-running and still unresolved issue with cancer scanning and treatment equipment at Parkville's Peter McCallum Cancer Centre. The equipment is affected by electromagnetic interference from the underground rail line which passes nearby. The issues have already cost $128 million in capital works and $36 million in extra operating costs to relocate sensitive scanning equipment from Peter McCallum, the Royal Women's Hospital and Royal Melbourne Hospital to East Melbourne. The leaked report says there is no provision for additional relocations or significant infrastructure upgrades in the Metro Tunnel project budget. A Peter McCallum spokesman said the centre was working with global experts to understand the potential impact of electromagnetic interference and determine what mitigation strategies may be required. He said patient safety remained the top priority and that all testing was carefully planned to ensure care was not affected. The rail project has also affected an electron microscope that sits in the basement of Parkville's Peter Doherty Institute, which performs infectious disease research. The high-tech microscope is less than 20 metres from the underground rail line. It is one of only a few dozen such microscopes in the world, and the Peter Doherty Institute is the only facility in the Southern Hemisphere with access to a microscope of its type, allowed to handle viruses such as Ebola and Hendra, the report says. Because these viruses are so contagious, the report says the microscope must be located in the same building as the laboratory. The report says shielding from electromagnetic interference might not protect the microscope, and no agreement has been reached on what happens if that does not work. It notes $5 million has already been set aside to try to put in place mitigation. Peter Doherty Institute did not respond to questions by the deadline. The report says one significant cut will almost certainly be made to save money as part of the project: the Park Street Link, a tram extension that was to be built near the new Anzac station on St Kilda Road.
There's replacement buses between Box Hill and Camberwell.
Port Phillip Council has long requested the tram extension to improve getting around the Bayside area. Government has approved in principle de-scoping of the Park Street Link from Metro Tunnel project to support the budget on the basis that insufficient funding was provided, the report says. Port Phillip Mayor Heather Consulo said the council had not been told of any de-scoping plans for the Park Street tram link. She said, "We will be writing to the Premier to seek urgent clarification as for the delay or ultimately not proceeding with installing 300 metres of missing tram track has concerning implications." Asked on Monday whether her government had cut elements of the project to try to rein in the budget, Victorian Premier Jacinta Allen said the project was on track to be open by the end of 2025 and it's absolutely going to transform the way our city and state moves. Victorian Premier Jacinta Allen, who is the Minister for Public Transport and Major Projects when the Metro Tunnel project began, said the state had challenges with the project, but this was to be expected because of its scale and complexity. This is a project that's just too big and important not to deliver, she said. She also said, we've recognised in a growing city and state the need to add more train services.
There's replacement buses between Box Hill and Camberwell.
The Premier also agreed that the Arden and Parkville sites were finished quicker than the city stations. She said, the stations in the city are just incredibly complex work sites. We have these huge caverns excavated beneath the heart of the city of Melbourne, while the city has to continue to move along above ground pretty seamlessly. The Premier also said the state government was working with medical research and cancer centres in a really positive way to resolve issues around their equipment. Opposition leader John Pasuto said the Victorian State Labor government had let a litany of problems hit the Metro Tunnel project that will only add further costs and delays. He said the Premier's mismanagement was fueling debt, starving funds from other priorities and now even threatening Victoria's financial position.
So, Waterman, I'm a public transport infrastructure consultant. It's my job to liaise between STM, Asia Pacific Construction, and the Victorian State Government, particularly the Transport Minister, to assess the timelines and the project management operations of the contract awarded to this firm. If you're a investor from interstate or overseas, it's my pleasure to welcome you here tonight. It's Waterman. Welcome to Project Melbourne Metro Underground Rail. It's Waterman here. I'm a public transport infrastructure consultant. It's my job to liaise between the Victorian State Government and STM Asia Pacific Construction. To our, if you're an investor from interstate or overseas,
Good morning passengers, just a reminder this train terminates at Box Hill.
This story was published on the 20th of August 2024. It was written by Clay Lucas. Clay Lucas is an investigative reporter at the Melbourne Age.
We'll be undertaking a short tour of this site, the proposed CBD South Station, for the new Melbourne Metro Underground Rail project. So if you'll come with me, we'll start right now. We'll be undertaking a short tour of this site, the site of the future Parkville Station under the Melbourne Metro Underground Rail project. We'll be taking a short tour of the site, so if you come with me, we'll start right away. Waterman here. Waterman here. I'm a public transport infrastructure consultant. Waterman here. I'm a public transport infrastructure consultant. It's my pleasure to welcome you here tonight. So if you'll come with me, we'll start right now. We'll be undertaking a short tour of this site, the site of the new Parkville Station. If you'll come with me, we'll start right away.
Passengers, please finish boarding. The train is ready to depart. This train is now...
That concludes our tour for today. This concludes our tour for today. This ends our tour for today. That ends our tour for today. That concludes our tour for today. We hope you enjoyed this insight into the state government's preparations for how your investment money is being spent. My name is Waterman. If you need any further information or questions answered, you can contact me via the Victorian Department of Transport or STM Asia Pacific Construction.
Good morning passengers, just a buses between Box Hill and Camberwell. Anyone wishing to take replacement buses, please head upstairs and find station and ask for more information.
We apologise for any inconvenience caused.
Back to business.